Deion Sanders delivers emotional message after Colorado's stunning comeback victory. The roar from Folsom Field was still echoing through the Rocky Mountains as the Colorado Buffaloes stormed their locker room, celebrating a victory that seemed impossible just an hour earlier. Trailing by 21 points in the third quarter to a tough conference rival, the Buffs engineered a masterful comeback, sealing a 38-35 win with a Shedeur Sanders touchdown pass in the final minute. But the most powerful moment of the night came after the final whistle. Away from the cameras and the cheering crowd, head coach Deion Sanders, known for his prime-time confidence and bold declarations, gathered his team and delivered a message brimming with raw emotion, faith, and fierce pride. Everybody in that stadium, everybody watching on TV, everybody who loves to hate us, they counted you out. Sanders began, his voice cracking with emotion. They were writing the stories. They were tweeting the jokes. They thought you were done. They thought you'd quit. He paused, letting the weight of the moment sink in. But they forgot to look inside your chest, he boomed, pointing at his players. They forgot to tell you that you had the heart of a lion. They forgot that when your back is against the wall, that's when you fight the hardest. That's when you become who you're meant to be. The comeback was a testament to the resilience Sanders has preached since his arrival in Boulder. After a blistering start to the season, the team had faced adversity, and today's game looked like it would be a breaking point. The offense sputtered in the first half, and the defense struggled to contain the opposition's high-powered attack. At halftime, the mood was somber, and the national media had all but declared the game over. But the second half was a different story. Led by his son, quarterback Shedeur Sanders, and two-way star Travis Hunter making critical plays on both sides of the ball, the Buffaloes chipped away at the lead. The defense forced key turnovers, and the offense found its rhythm, culminating in a game-winning drive that will be remembered in Boulder for years to come. In the locker room, with tears of joy streaming down some players' faces, Coach Prime shifted his tone from defiance to gratitude and faith. "I'm not just proud of you as football players. I'm proud of you as men," he continued, his voice softening. "You looked at adversity, you looked at doubt, and you didn't flinch. You looked at each other and you said, 'I believe.' That's what this is about. It ain't just about football. This is about life. When life hits you, and it will hit you, you remember this moment. You remember that you can get back up and you can win." Sanders, who often speaks of his faith, concluded his message by giving credit to a higher power. "Don't you ever for a second think this was just us," he said, looking around the room. "This was a miracle. This was God's plan. He put you in that valley to see if you'd still climb the mountain. And look at you now, standing on the summit." He ended with his now famous mantra, but this time it carried a different weight, not as a warning, but as a confirmation. "We told them we were coming," he said with a weary but triumphant smile. "And tonight we arrived." As the players erupted in cheers, it was clear this victory was more than just another win. It was a validation of a culture, a testament to belief, and a powerful chapter in the incredible story unfolding in Colorado, all crystallized by the emotional words of their leader. The air in Boulder, Colorado, carries a different weight on a Saturday in the fall. It is thin, yes, a fact of geography that leaves flatlanders gasping, but it is also thick with something less tangible, a mixture of anticipation, history, and, for the first time in nearly 2 decades, genuine, unadulterated belief. The Flatirons, those magnificent, slanted monuments of primordial stone, stand as silent witnesses, their jagged faces catching the golden afternoon light, seemingly indifferent to the human drama unfolding in the cauldron of noise and color nestled at their feet. That cauldron was Folsom Field, and on this day it was the center of the American sporting universe. This was the house that Deion Sanders built, or more accurately, the house he had seized, gutted, and was in the process of renovating at a speed that defied logic, convention, and the established pieties of college football. The world had parachuted into this idyllic college town not for the scenery, but for the spectacle. They came to see Coach Prime, a figure carved from charisma and controversy, a man who had taken the moribund Colorado Buffaloes program, a 1-11 laughingstock the previous year, and infused it with the two things it so desperately lacked: talent and swagger. The revolution had been televised, lionized, and criticized in equal measure. Every soundbite was dissected, every pair of custom sunglasses analyzed, every victory celebrated as a paradigm shift, and every loss greeted with a chorus of "I told you so." The narrative was intoxicating, polarizing, and inescapable. Today was supposed to be another chapter in that saga, a tough conference game against a well-coached, disciplined rival, a team that represented everything the new Colorado was not. They were the establishment, a program built brick by painstaking brick over years. Colorado was a lightning strike, a phenomenon of sudden, brilliant, and perhaps unsustainable energy. The question hanging in the crisp autumn air was simple: what happens when the lightning fades? For 2.5 quarters, the answer was brutal and unambiguous. The lightning had not just faded. It had been grounded, snuffed out by a methodical, soul-crushing display of superior execution. The opponent, let's call them the Predators, played with a chilling efficiency. Their offense moved the ball in relentless, demoralizing chunks. Their defense, savvy and physical, seemed to have deciphered Shedeur Sanders' every intention, turning the Buffalo's dynamic young quarterback into a study in frustration. Passes sailed high, pockets collapsed, and the easy confidence that had defined the team's early success had evaporated, replaced by a tight, anxious desperation. The score, displayed on the massive video board overlooking the south end zone, was a testament to the lopsidedness of the affair. Predators 35, Colorado 14. It was midway through the third quarter, and a funereal quiet had descended upon the once raucous Folsom Field. The student section, a vibrant sea of black and gold, was now largely still, their hopeful cheers reduced to murmurs of disbelief. The national media, perched high in the press box, were already typing their leads, crafting their narratives of hubris and collapse. Prime Time's reality check, one would read: "The Colorado fairy tale comes to a grinding halt." Another would declare: "The story was written, the verdict rendered. The experiment had failed." On the Colorado sideline, the mood was even more grim. Young men, titans of muscle and speed, stared at the turf, their body language a portrait of defeat. Helmets were off, heads were bowed. Assistant coaches paced with tight jaws, flipping through laminated play sheets as if the answer to this existential crisis could be found in some forgotten diagram of an X and an O. And in the center of it all stood Deion Sanders. He was uncharacteristically quiet, his signature sunglasses shielding his eyes, his posture rigid. He watched the unfolding disaster not with the explosive anger some might have expected, but with a terrifying, analytical calm. He was observing, measuring, and processing the very essence of failure as it washed over his team. He was letting them feel it. He knew that for what was to come, they had to understand the depths of this despair. The Predators had the ball again, their offense churning, chewing up the clock, bleeding the last vestiges of hope from the stadium. First down. Another. The chains moved with a sickening clank. It felt less like a football game and more like a slow public execution. A television timeout mercifully paused the onslaught. As the players trudged toward the sideline for water and instruction, a singular image captured the moment. Travis Hunter, the two-way phenom, the generational talent who had followed Coach Prime from Jackson State to Boulder, bent over at the waist, hands on his knees, his chest heaving. He had been on the field for nearly every single snap, as a shutdown cornerback on defense and a primary target on offense. He was giving everything, a superhuman effort in a losing cause, and the sheer weight of it all was visibly crushing him. This was the nadir. This was the moment where teams quit, where fingers get pointed, where the cracks in a foundation built on confidence shatter into a million pieces. This was the valley of the shadow of death, and the path forward was shrouded in an impenetrable fog of doubt. Inside the mind of Shadur Sanders, a different kind of storm was raging. As the quarterback, the coach's son, and the undisputed leader of the offense, the burden of the collapse felt personal. He replayed every missed throw, every sack taken, every misread in a dizzying, self-critical loop. The Predators' defensive coordinator had crafted a masterful game plan. They were disguising their coverages, bringing pressure from unexpected angles, and bracketing his favorite targets. The game, which so often felt to him like an elegant dance of action and reaction, had become a chaotic bar fight where he was taking all the punches.